Oh, hello there. I thought you might be stopping by today. You've got that look, like someone following a thread they didn't mean to pull. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. Was it the lanterns again? Or the braid on the edge of the green? No? Ah, then it was the stillness, wasn't it? The kind that makes the birdsong pause just a little too long. Go on, come in. Mind the low beam. I keep meaning to warn people, but no one ever listens until they've bumped into it anyway. There's tea, of course, and I think I've still got a bit of honey left from Midsummer's pot. I found something, out past the rosemary wall and the disused lane. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, but the path had that feeling. The one that says someone's been here before, and they left something behind. No, not treasure. Not the gold and gem sense, anyway. Just stones, moss, and symbols that looked like stitched threads that didn't want to be forgotten. I think it's waking up again. Shall I tell you what happened? The path past Willowmere was not on most maps. Even the detailed ones, inked by careful hands and passed between archivists and herbalists, only marked it as the old lane, disused. But those who lived here in the village long enough knew it by another name, Willowbrook Path. It was not a road exactly, more a suggestion, a winding lane that moved through thickets and hush, beside shallow brooks and over moss-laced stones, a path remembered more by boots and baskets than pen or ink. It was the way once taken by those who needed quiet, or guidance, or something older still. The morning the lantern keeper set out, the village felt hushed in a different way. Not like sleep, more like listening. The kind of quiet that gathers around the edges of knowing, the pause before memory stirs. Inside the cottage, the whisper light by the door blinked twice, then steadied. The kettle already emptied, exhaled one final breath of steam, and the samplers still pinned above the hearth held the dawn light in its thread as though it remembered something worth repeating. They didn't pack much, just the notebook, a sprig of rosemary from the braid by the window, and a small, unfinished charm found tucked inside an old book the night before. It bore no label, just the faint symbol stitched in the corner. A circle, open on one end, an invitation. The path began beyond the last gate of the village, where the ivy thickened and the air changed. It was cooler here, not colder exactly, just denser, like a place where time moved differently, where roots spoke in old rhythms. The lantern keeper walked slowly, letting each step find its place, letting the silence lead. It wasn't long before the willows deepened. Their trunks grew broader, twisted like braids mid-turn. Their leaves hung low, catching threads of light and shadow in ways that felt intentional, protective. There were no signs, no markers, but something in the tilt of the ground, of the curve the trees made clear, this path was known. Not by many, but by enough. At a bend near the bank of a slow, dark stream, they found their first remnant, a braid, half unraveled, damp with dew, tied with green thread. They bent slowly, lifted it from the roots where it had rested, not placed recently, but not decayed either. It had waited. They didn't keep it, only adjusted the twist gently, then tucked it back into the crook of the tree with a small nod. Some things weren't meant to be carried, only acknowledged. The air thickened as the trees grew older, not taller or denser, just older. Their bark bore folds like cloth, their limbs curved overhead into quiet arches, and from the earth itself came a scent not of rot, but of remembering. Wet stone pressed herbs, sun-warmed wool, and something else. Thread, not fresh, but not forgotten. They followed the scent, eyes lowered, pace slowed. It wasn't long before they reached a low rise, almost hidden by brambles and ferns, a soft swell in the land, ringed by standing trees, not taller than any others, but different and watchful. At the center, stones, 12 of them, half-buried, moss-covered, worn to near nothingness, but still there, and faint, so faint, beneath the moss, were markers. The lantern keeper knelt, brushing one stone with the edge of their sleeve, a circle of braid, and below it, just barely visible in the filtered light, the lantern. Not drawn with precision, not chiseled for permanence, but etched, as though by fingertip or bone, with the patience of someone who did not need to be remembered by name, only by meaning. They rose slowly, moved to the next stone, another mark. Different but familiar. A sprig, a curl of thread, and again the lantern. Always the lantern. Not lit, not flame-bearing, just present. Like a keeper who stays even when the light goes out. They did not visit every stone. They didn't need to. The story wasn't held in any one carving, but in the space between them. A circle, a gathering, a keeping. They stood at the center and closed their eyes. The air didn't shift, the leaves didn't stir. But something within the circle opened, a quiet click. The sound of a lock turned by memory. And from somewhere overhead, a crow called once, not as an omen, but as a witness. They reached into their satchel, drew out the unfinished charm, turned it over once in their hands, then placed it gently onto the moss. It wasn't an offering, not necessarily. It wasn't an answer. It was just a thread, one that had waited long enough to be picked up again. As they turned to go, the wind moved, just slightly, just enough to lift a single willow frond from the center tree and send it drifting down. It landed near their boot, a quiet green curl, thread-like, unbroken. That night, the lantern keepers sat by the hearth, notebook open, pencil still. They didn't draw a map, not this time, only a pattern. 12 stones, 12 symbols, a lantern at the center. And across the bottom of the page, almost without thought, they wrote, "Some paths are not forged forward, they are followed back. Through thread, through hush, through what the roots remember when the rest of us have forgotten." In the branches above Lantern Hollow, a braid appeared overnight, loose, threadbare, but deliberate, a memory tied in green, and beneath it, the faintest hum of a song not yet sung, but nearly, very nearly, home. And that's where I left it. Just moss and silence, and that braid at my feet, unfinished, but still sure of itself. Funny, isn't it? How some things come back without ever really leaving. Anyway, your tea's gone cold. Or maybe you were just too busy listening to drink it. Happens. I've no idea what the path will ask us next, but I've the feeling that the willows do. So if you find a braid tied in green or hear a tune where no one's singing, don't ignore it. Follow it gently. And when you're ready to come back, I'll be here, lantern lit and kettle warm. Until the next whisper finds you, take care and carry the light softly.